Okay, so are you ready to dive into some serious drama?
Always up for some drama.
Because this deep dive is all about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking those infamous cities, questionable choices, and honestly, just a lot of intense stuff.
Yeah, those stories are really stuck with people.
For good reason, right?
Mm.
And to be sure we're getting it right, we're going straight to the source.
Of course, Genesis, right?
Exactly. Genesis chapters 19, 20, and 21. But honestly, just starting in chapter 19, you just get dropped right in the middle of this chaos.
That's wild.
The wickedness, the terror.
It really makes you think.
It really does. Especially you think about it today and
how it still resonates.
Exactly. And, right in the middle of all this, we find Lot.
Right. Abraham's nephew.
Trying to just survive. And it's almost like he can sense who those visitors are.
Yeah.
Immediately offering them a place to stay.
I mean, think about that situation. Having those angels just show up.
Right. Could you imagine? Talk about an awkward dinner party.
Seriously.
That had to be the most stressful dinner party ever.
I mean, but it brings up a really important point about that time. Hospitality was huge in the ancient Near East.
Right.
Huge.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just being polite.
It was way deeper.
Oh, yeah. Way deeper. It was honor, protection, recognizing that sometimes the divine shows up in ways you'd never expect.
And boy, did they show up.
Yeah.
And Lot, despite, living in a pretty wild place, still seems to be holding on to those core beliefs.
Right. That hospitality is paramount.
Yeah. Which, thank goodness he did, because those angels were the reason he and his family got out alive.
Oh.
Although it was not
an easy escape.
Not a smooth escape, ATLA.
Yeah.
He hesitates. He's begging those angels to let him go to this smaller city.
Instead of heading for the hills, right?
It's like he's more afraid of something else than this crazy firestorm from heaven.
Right. He can't quite let go of the life he knows, even when it's burning down around him, It's a very human response.
That's such a good point. And then to top it all off, there's Lot's wife.
Oh, man. The pillar of salt. Can't forget about that.
You can't make this stuff up. It's stuck with people forever.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes you think twice about disobeying, but...
But what do you think it really symbolizes? Obedience. Holding on too tightly.
It's a great question. It's something people have been wrestling with forever. But for me, it's that human thing. We cling to what's familiar, even when it's bad for us. Her story is a warning, but it's also just sad, Sometimes what we think is saving us is actually holding us back.
That's a really good point. It's so easy to get stuck in that mindset.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
It's true. Yeah, it's a powerful image, to be sure. And speaking of powerful images, let's move on over to Genesis chapter 20. We've got Abraham and Sarah in Gerar and...
Oh, boy. Here we go again.
Right. And what does he do? Pulls the "she's my sister" card again.
You've got to be kidding me.
I know. I mean, haven't we been down this road before? Remember back with Pharaoh in Genesis 12? It's we're back to square one.
It's true. Makes you wonder if Abraham learned anything at all. You think his faith has grown at all? I mean, here he is. Same situation, different ruler. And he chooses to save his own skin by putting Sarah right in the line of fire.
Right. And Sarah, well, you got to feel for her in this situation. Talk about frustrating. Stuck in the middle of his deception again.
Again. Poor Sarah.
This time, though, it's Abimelech, the king of Gerar, who gets a message from God. And it's not subtle either. It's a dream.
Oh, yeah, the dream. Dreams were a big deal in the Bible back then.
Huge, right.
Totally. It's like a direct line to God, a way for him to speak directly to you. And in this case, God uses the dream to warn Abimelech, protect Sarah, and make it crystal clear that he's watching.
Even when you think no one's looking.
Exactly. Always watching.
And of course, Abimelech confronts Abraham about all of this.
Right.
And what does Abraham do? Tries to justify it.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm totally serious. He's saying he was afraid and that Sarah's technically his half-sister.
He's playing semantics now. Come on.
It's rough, right?
Yeah.
Really makes you think about the choices he made. Where do you draw the line? It's an ethical gray area.
Totally. And on one hand, you have Abraham, this giant of faith, chosen by God. And on the other, he's putting his own wife at risk to save himself.
I know. It's a lot to unpack. And you think to yourself, surely things can't get any weirder.
Right.
And then along comes Isaac in Genesis 21. Finally. Right?
Finally. Talk about an answer to prayer.
Seriously. But, I mean, of course, it wouldn't be a good story without some drama.
Right. Where's the fun in that?
And the drama here is, well, now you've got two sons, two potential heirs. And Sarah, well...
She does not handle it well.
Nope. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
She sees Ishmael mocking Isaac, And she basically wants Hagar and Ishmael gone.
Oh, yeah. She's not messing around.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you really feel for Abraham here. I can't even imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about stuck between a rock and hard place.
Totally. But, we do have to remember the cultural piece here.
Oh, for sure. Context is everything, right?
Absolutely. I mean, back then, the wife's child versus the slave woman's child, that was a completely different thing. And Sarah's trying to protect her son's future.
Totally. Which would have been seen as her right, even if it seems a little rough to us now.
So not just jealousy then.
Right. It's about so much more. Lineage, inheritance, these huge expectations.
Which puts it all in perspective. So much more than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. Always.
And of course, Abraham has to listen to Sarah.
And
And on top of that, God himself tells him to listen to Sarah. Isaac is the chosen heir.
right.
But here's the thing that always gets me. God doesn't abandon Hagar and Ishmael.
Not for a second.
He promises Hagar that he'll make a great nation out of Ishmael.
Yeah.
He provides for them, protects them, even in the midst of all this family drama.
Right. God is still working. I mean, that's what always gets me about these stories. It's like, no matter what we do,
God's got this.
he's got this. He's working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it. He's faithful.
It's true, and it's such an important reminder because it's so easy to get caught up in the drama and forget that. And that's not the only place we see this in these chapters, right?
Oh, definitely not. Remember Abraham and Abimelech? After that whole sister situation, you'd think there'd be some serious tension.
Oh, yeah.
But what happens? They make a covenant, an agreement to share the land peacefully.
Like water under the bridge.
Seriously, it's incredible. And then they even sealed the deal at a place called Beersheba, Well of the Oath.
And those wells were huge back then. Life or death, literally.
Oh, yeah. Water was everything. So this wasn't just some formality. It was a big deal.
So much deeper than we realize on the surface.
Always is.
It's just amazing to me how much is packed into just these few chapters. Choices, faith, family drama.
Right.
Have you ever felt pulled in different directions like that?
Oh, absolutely. Who hasn't? Part of being human, right? Figuring out these messy, complicated lives.
It really is. And these stories remind us that even when we mess up, even when we make choices that don't make sense, God is still there, still faithful, still working. It's a powerful thing to think about, don't you think?
Absolutely. And you know what? I think it's something we all need to hear sometimes.
Couldn't agree more. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions,
Yeah.
and keep diving deep. Because you never know what you might find.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.